Here we have a new 2023 Hyundai Elantra. This one comes in the SEL trim level in the beautiful intense blue. And then we have gray cloth interior. Our powertrain consists of a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine mated to an intelligent variable transmission. And as we come around to the front end here, great styling for the Elantra. We get LED daytime running lights along with our halogen headlamps, and the lights don't flash like that. That's just how my camera's picking it up. But like I said, this intense blue is absolutely stunning in person. You come around to the wheels here, these are going to be 16s. Like the finish on those. Passive keyless entry on the front. Now over here we have the controls for our power windows, with the driver's side being one-touch automatic up and down. And then if you look there, we do have blind spot monitors in this one. Power door lock controls there, and then you pick a side and adjust your power mirrors there. And decent sized pocket there, bottle holder here. Gonna pop the hood for later. And then a 6-way manual driver's seat. Now I have that seat up front adjust for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. We're gonna check out the legroom here in a moment, but first, let's take a quick look at this window sticker. And y'all can pause anywhere you want to. But look at that price, only $23,430. Pretty good fuel economy. Well, let's check out this rear legroom. So it's a step down, but nothing terrible. And that's with my knees behind the seat, but I have tons of space with my thicker legs as well to actually just lay my knee on the door panel there. So if you had this adjusted for 4 people, you could probably fit 4 adults 6 feet or taller in here. Have about ½ an inch to an inch of headroom, I think. So still impressive for one of the smallest vehicles that Hyundai offers. And I do like that we have the hanger hook just on this side out of the blind spot, and then you can probably hang 1 or 2 thinner hangers there for your shirts. Let's go ahead and make our way to the back. I'm guessing we have a lever. Okay, yeah, we still have a lever to pull for the gas cap and the trunk. So a lot of people will like that, especially on this kind of vehicle. If you don't want to get your gas siphoned or whatever, you can lock your gas cap. And very generous trunk space for this kind of vehicle, in my opinion. You can pull this to unlock your back seat there. This one does have a cargo tray there, and then spares underneath there with the jack. And then another way you can open the trunk is by hitting this button here. So I like that we have access from the back if we don't want to have to pull that lever. And then let's see if we can see that exhaust. But making our way to the right side, this rear seat with it popped, we can fold that flat. And I did not know this was actually one piece, so you just fold it all at once, and then you can run longer objects through. And they're pretty easy to lock back into place. Well, somewhat easy. And then we have a 4-way front passenger seat that's manual. Have a small pocket here if you want to stand your phone or something. Then glove compartment with owner's manuals here. Decent size for a small car. And then coming around to the front here, let's go ahead and pop this hood. And there's that 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. And now we're going to go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So we do get the vinyl wrap steering wheel, which is still nice. All of Hyundai's steering wheels pretty much follow the same design. I really like it. But over here to the radio, pretty easy to use. We do get, there's the radio. We get AM, FM radio. And we also have XM radio as well. with a subscription, of course. And then we have Bluetooth audio, and we have wired Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto. Settings are here, so you can set up your Bluetooth connections, your vehicle settings, Wi-Fi hotspot, and then of course your sound, all of that. And then I like that we still have actual buttons, so you can go through your track list or the radio stations here. And then I like to have a shortcut for the setup as well. So if we are, let's say, in the radio and we want to go ahead and toggle our bass or something, go here, and then pretty easy. And we have a favorites button as well. You can customize that, whether you want to go straight to your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth audio, whatever. And then we also have a mode button, which I'll show you where that is later on the steering wheel. And we can choose to go between Bluetooth, phone projection, and maybe XM, or we can turn something off, all that. So pretty easy to use and pretty intuitive in my opinion. Here's a backup camera. That yellow guideline follows you as you turn the steering wheel to show you where you're headed. And then power knob here, volume as well. And we have a tune knob there to go through the station as well if we don't want to use that. Hazards there, AC vents here. And then down here, I do like that we have dual zone automatic climate controls, and that we can also toggle the sync on and off instead of having to adjust the temperature. And then we have 3-stage auto mode, which is my favorite. You have 3 different ways to divvy out the air. So if you don't want it too high, you can do that. If you want to hurry up and cool down or heat up, you can do that as well. And then you can toggle it all the way off. Fan speeds here, AC there, direction here. And then your defrosters are down there, just like how all these buttons are set up. And we do have a 12 volt here. That middle USB port is to run your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and then you have a charge USB port as well. Tons of space down in here. You could actually probably fit 2 phones there if you need to. And then for the shifter, pull this lever behind here, reverse, neutral drive, come over here, manually shift. And we have a toggle to throw the backup camera up, touch of a button instead of having it be in reverse. And you have 3 drive modes. You hit that button there, and you have smart, sport, and normal. You see it on that right hand side of the gauge cluster. Handbrake here, cup holders there, and that's a removable one. You can use that as kind of like an ashtray if you want to. And then okay size center console cubby space, especially for such a small car. Then up here, dome lights, you can set that to on, the doors, or turn them off. Quick look at the back seat from up here. And then over here, that's where that mode button is. You can toggle between your XM, Bluetooth, whatever you have set up. Voice recognition here, volume control here. This also serves as a mute when you click it. You can go through your track list or radio station presets with this. And then you have your Bluetooth controls down here. And then to the right side, we have our cruise control there. We do get lane centering here. And then our actual buttons and knobs for the cruise are here. And then we can use this and this button here to go through that gauge cluster on the right hand side. So I like that a lot of this is in the actual digital menu on the right side instead of being on the radio like you'll see in the more upscale models and on bigger models as well. I like having all of that there right in front of me. Blinkers there, turn your high beams on there, flash your high beams or turn the high beams off there, and then in auto mode you can turn the auto high beams on there, and then you can turn everything off. And then to the right side we have one time for the windshield wipers, intermittent low and high, and then we can set our intermittent here, about 5 settings there, and then pull up here for front wiper fluid. But I actually love how this gauge cluster is set up. It looks really sporty even though only that right side is digital. Love how they did that. There's our push button start. And finally here's our key fob, and then this one also has remote start. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2023 Hyundai Elantra SEL out on the road for a quick test drive. So driving the Elantra behind the wheel in smart mode, I like how as I need more power, it'll go from eco mode to normal mode. And then if I start driving really spiritedly, it'll put me into that sport mode. But even with the naturally aspirated 2-liter, still drives pretty nicely. Now, it's no speed demon, but great commuter car, and when you do need power, it's ready to give you some. And just a tad bit of road noise. Of course, this is a smaller car. I'm closer to the ground, so I'm gonna hear a lot of that, but solid ride quality all in all. Now, this does have the stock audio sound system. Hyundai's stock system is pretty good. It's nothing that is fantastic, but you go in the higher trims or get aftermarket speakers, you'll have a better quality sound. But for everyday commuting and you're trying to save money, all of that, your stock system is going to be just fine. So in smart mode now, I'm going to go ahead and put it into the eco mode, or the sport mode, excuse me. And then it lets you manually shift. I'm just curious to see how this does, because you don't have any shifts with a continuously variable transmission. But in this sport mode, with the quote-unquote shifts, it actually does a pretty good job getting up. And it's kind of fun. Now with the cruise, you just have the regular cruise on this one, but we do get lane centering, so we'll test that out. And we'll put it back into smart mode now. So lane centering's on here. And again, nice solid ride down the interstate. Hyundais are known to have a more solid ride. They're not the smoothest or the quietest, but they're good. And minimal road noise. I shouldn't say minimal road noise, minimal wind noise. The tires are still just a tad loud. But again, for a commuter car, it's nothing unexpected or anything to worry about. Of course, the sound acoustics are not going to be as good in the Elantra as it is in the Palisade, so that's why the Palisade costs twice as much money at least. But just a nice driving car so far, all in all, just really nice, especially for $22,000, $23,000. So not a lot of direct competitors left for the Elantra. Probably the Corolla, the Civic, and then maybe the Sentra. But for the most part, all the American automakers are trying to get out of the sedans, the small sedans specifically, as fast as possible, going to those smaller kind of cars with hatches. This is still a good option for me. The IVT in here, not sure about the longevity of it, excuse me, but I do know that with this car being so cheap, a lot of people like to keep these for commuters, put 100,000 miles on them in 2 or 3 years, and then they become somebody else's problem or somebody else's bargain, depending on how you look at it. So for me, I definitely would put my money on the Elantra. I mean, you have that incredible 100,000 mile, 10-year powertrain warranty, and then you also can just go ahead and pretty easy to get a extended warranty if you buy one with 100,000 miles and are not going to drive that many miles and you just want the added security of that. But all in all, for the money, you get a lot of tech, a lot of safety, and just a solid car that'll get you 40 miles per gallon. So this will bring me to the end of my review of the new 2023 Hyundai Elantra SEL.